All righty. So we are on and we are good.
Bring that beat back. Clap your hands, do the beat, y'all. Clap your hands, do the beat, y'all. That beat, y'all.
All right. Guess it wanted to continue playing. I don't know. All right. Well, here we go. We're doing a live episode, y'all. Um, Welcome back to Beats Per Minute, beautiful people. I am your host, Miss Thursday. Again, this is the Beats Per Minute podcast where hip hop, health, and matters of the heart are all in sync. I am super excited about today. But I do want to say to anybody that is watching live, please like, follow, share this with people. We're going to have a great conversation tonight. And if you're catching a replay, still share it. Like, follow, subscribe, so you can stay connected with us and also know when we're doing another live episode, as well as any upcoming events and things that we'll have going on. Let's get to it. All right. Tonight, I am being joined by two really great people that I've just come to enjoy. Um, they are, not only just deep in this hip hop culture, but they are educators. They are just, great men. They're innovators. They are the founders, the host of Slapp Boxing, Slaps TV. Somehow they have found a way to put Slapp in everything that they say. And without further ado, I want to introduce my two guests tonight. We have DJ 360 and Greatness of Slapp Boxing. Let them really introduce themselves and tell you what they do real quick. So go ahead, fellas.
Well, I'm your international homeboy, the incredible DJ 360, and I'm one half of the Slapp Boxing Connoisseurs, you know what I'm saying? And we are a competitive musical platform, and we compete everything that can slap. I don't care if it's food, if it's music, if it's clothes, shoes, words, education, books, whatever. If it can be competed against, we gonna slap it. And we have a bunch of things y'all can check out on YouTube at Slaps TV. A bunch of competitions that we've done over the last 5 seasons, you know what I'm saying? And but the core of our platform is the music, you know what I'm saying, with a foundation in hip hop, but we explore genres including rock, reggae, hip hop, R&B, you name it. If there's a slap involved, we gonna make sure we tapping into it. So my partner, Greatness, is gonna give you a little bit more information about it, and so you all get understanding of what we do.
All right.
Yeah, man. Right.
Right.
It's the boy Slapp Boxing Greatness, man, aka man, Slaps Called Quest. You understand what I'm saying? We out here celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip hop, man.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we gotta promote that, man. You understand me? But anyways, though, like my partner said, man, Slapp Boxing is the industry leader in competitive musical platforms. You know what I mean? I mean, this thing started, man, on a wing and a prayer, man, and it just grew legs and arms, and man, we planted, we here. You know what I mean? So like you said, anything you can think of, slapping it against each other, man. Real talk. So like you say, check out all our social media platforms. You understand me? Slapp Boxing with the 2 P's and the I-N. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
SLAPPBOXIN.
All right, fellas. So I'm going to have you get more into the battles and everything a little bit later, and we'll talk about how I got robbed. But I definitely appreciate you guys taking your time to be here with me tonight. My goal for this month with Beats Per Minute was I really wanted to celebrate the DJs and the people that have kind of helped create the soundtrack to our lives. And, and so I'm really grateful that I get to start this out with you guys because, what you guys do is amazing, and I just appreciate you both. So one of the things we like to ask our guests when we first get started is, what was the song or that thing that made you fall in love with hip hop or decide that you wanted to be a part of this culture?
Man, when I heard the 808 kick drum, when I heard a 808 hi hat and a snare drum, and these two MCs who happen to be from Queens, New York, and their DJ, rest his soul, Jam Master Jay, on their first album, they had a song called Jam Master Jay. When I heard those sleigh bells at the beginning of the song, it drew you in. And then when that beat dropped, I was like, I need to find some more of this. And I first heard that song back in like 85, and I still know the whole song to this day. When I heard that song, it drew me into whatever that music was, you know what I'm saying? But that came after my pops, shout out to OG Kent. He's been on the Slapp boxing platform.
Yes, he has.
He used to play the original records before we knew what the samples were in certain songs that we came to love in hip hop. He would play the original records. Me and my brother Court Knox would be woken up maybe 12, 1 in the morning, and Pops would have us on the couch and he'd be playing his records and he'd make us pay attention to the breakdown. But he didn't have a name for it. He would just say, watch this part right here. So we would be focusing on that part, and it happened to be what turned out to be the breaks in hip hop. Certain songs where the drums would continue, the bass line was taken out, and it broke down for maybe 2 or 3 bars, maybe 4 bars, but it didn't repeat. It was real short. So we would come to realize that those breaks that my pops had us listening to were sampled and was repeated for about 3 or 4 minutes, and it became hip hop songs. One of the ones that he would play would be, let me think, Nautilus by Bob James. So anybody, I'm not going to say what songs it was sampled.
It's a lot. It's actually a lot of songs that's been used. Yeah. Like, it's been used a lot.
Exactly. So it's out there. So anybody that wants to know, how DJs do back in the days, man, you need to go find that. I'm covering my label. You can't see the name of this artist.
Yeah.
But look up Nautilus by Bob James. My pops used to play that record and several others, including breaks from Ramsey Lewis, Temptations, and Curtis Mayfield. The list goes on and on. But that moment, the song, to answer your question, the song that made me say this is what I want to listen to for the rest of my life was a song called Jam Master Jay by Run DMC. I heard The Message and Planet Rock and all that a little later. Because I was born in 78. In 84, I was 6. So I didn't, I wasn't there when the inception. But as I got older, I knew I wanted to be involved in that culture. You know what I'm saying? And then it came breakdancing and doing graffiti and beatboxing, the whole nine. So that's my experience right there.
Gotcha. Okay. What about you, Greatness? What's your song?
Well, for me, honestly, I grew up, again, wanting to be a break dancer. You know what I mean? Spinning on my head, on my back, all that.
Yeah.
We had a little break dancing crew, man. We used to go battle, you feel me? But I was all in the Beach Street. But, I'm from the West Coast, man. So it wasn't until Electric Boogaloo dropped, man.
Okay.
You feel me? I wanted to be Turbo. You know what I mean? When he was dancing on the ceiling, that made me go get some chucks, man. Because I'm like, oh, I need some chucks to dance on the ceiling. But the song that did it for me, honestly, though, man, was Freaky Tales. You know what I'm saying? Too Short, man. When I heard that, I was like, like I didn't even pay attention to the vulgarity. You know what I mean? It was more so the story he was telling for me. I'm like, dang, he doing it like that. You feel me? So, yeah, Freaky Tales is that one that made me just really be like, all right, I could do this because, again, it was West Coast affiliated. You understand me?
And I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted that to, definitely be known, because sometimes we do forget, and I'll speak for myself, growing up on the East Coast, it was like not really thought about, I guess, when I was growing up, the idea that this was just in this region and it was slowly spreading its way through the coast and the different regions. And so I think it was having a conversation with DJ clientele that really kind of helped even open my eyes to the origins of the West Coast. Yeah. And how it really, got popping there. So, like you said, you're from the West Coast and more so the Bay Area, correct?
Right. San
Absolutely.
Francisco, California.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it makes
Yeah.
a big difference. And also, I heard someone talking the other day. I was watching a podcast. I can't remember exactly who it was, but it was like someone from the East Coast, the first time that they heard Too Short, couldn't really understand because they're like, oh man, he rapping like kind of elementary.
Right.
Yeah.
When he was like listening to what he was saying and realizing like for that area, like he was repping his area and how important that was for that area to have that representation. And I think sometimes, we don't talk about that enough in hip hop.
I think accessibility was big for West Coast, well, Bay Area artists. Let me say it that way. You know what I'm saying? Being able to put your hands on them, in the most loving way possible. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But being able to physically see them at the corner store, it's like, oh, that's E40. That's Short, boy. He right there. He's living normal life. That's Fig, boy. That's Selsky. That's Cool Nut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Being able just to see them and actually talk to them, and they like, oh, what's up, man? You know what I'm saying? That right there, I think, is what really endeared the Bay Area artists to their clientele.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
You just see them, touch them. You might even went to school with them too. You feel me?
And with somebody like Too Short, he dropped. I mean, he was doing what the Cold Crush and Curtis Blow and them was doing before '82 when hip hop really took a hold. Between 79 and 80, Too Short was popping in the Bay. He was he was doing freestyles. He was recording his first before his main release, which was Born to Mac in '87. He had already had 3 albums. You know what I'm saying? And Too Short was popping at the time. Run DMC and all the legendary pioneers from the East Coast was doing their thing. He was doing the same thing on the West Coast, but because the Bronx was the focal point, because the projects were huge, because there was this youthful energy coming out of there, that's where the spotlight was. But we can't really say with 100% certainty that same energy wasn't happening in some other part of the country. It just so happened that is where it began. Shout out to the Bronx, shout out to 1520 Cedric Ave, and everybody, Kool Herc and his sister who had the first party inside of the community center right there. But shortly thereafter, Too Short was coming to prominence in Los Angeles. The whole Uncle Jam's Army and shout out to them, Roger Clayton and Egyptian Lover and the whole crew down, the LA Dream Team and all the way up. It started to take shape. And shout out to Planet Rock was one of those songs that gave a lot of birth to a bunch of songs around the country, including Miami bass and what was happening in LA at the time. So
hey, what's up, Dramatic?
Yeah, shout out to Clientele too, World Class Record Crew and all that.
Yeah, Lorenzo and DJ Yella and Dr. Dre. But the funny thing is Kool Rock-Ski from the Fat Boys actually just posted that yesterday, and he talked about how of course with everything that has happened or whatever, a lot of people might not want to talk about how important Bambaataa was to the culture, but I mean, what he did for the culture, we can't get away from that.
And it's unfortunate some of the circumstances that arose over the last few years. Not that you condone it, but at the same time, we can't erase what happened in slavery times and leading up to now. We know what happened. We move, we grow from it.
Yeah.
But it's not erased. It's still there. You know what I'm saying? So hip hop is picture a table. Bambaataa is one of the legs of the table that's holding it up.
Right. Red
Alert's one of the legs. Grandmaster Flash is one of the legs. Kool Herc is probably the actual table. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to, what I'm saying? So shout out to all the pioneers, forefathers, and foremothers of this culture.
Yeah. So we're in the Bay. We got the bug, and then how do we go about getting into this from wanting to be a break dancer to wanting to do music or whatever the case might be? What was the journey for you guys?
Well, for me, it actually started in grade school. Shout out to the homeboy AK Black, man. You know what I'm saying? AK Black was a dude that came to the school, and he I guess you could say he started like a mentoring group with the guys at the school, and he had us rapping about he started a thing called eco rap. So we rapping about ecology and the environment, you know what I mean? And then we did a show, man. Real talk, bro. We did a show at the Bayview Opera House. You know what I mean? And hold on, no, let me back up. Before AK Black, all right, I was in 5th grade, and we wrote the song about the election, Jesse Jackson, you know what I mean? And running against, Michael Dukakis and Gore back then, you know what I mean? And Bush, the daddy. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, so we were rapping about that. Then it went to the ecosystem, you know what I mean? And then it matured into going to school. And when I left San Francisco and when I went to college in Atlanta, man, shout out to Morehouse College and the whole AUC, you know what I mean? When I went to Atlanta, that's where I started listening to a variety of music. Because in the Bay, I mean, the Bay had their own culture, so we listened to ourselves. You know what I mean? Yeah, we listened to some LA. We listened to Outkast, and I heard of course, I got the purple tape. Everybody got the purple tape. You know,
everybody got the purple tape.
And that beat, the infamous. You know what I mean? But it was we listened to Bay rappers, really Frisco. We had a whole movement.
Yeah,
from Hunters Point to Sunnydale to Lakeview to Fillmore. Everybody had multiple rappers coming out their hoods. So that's what we did. But then when I went to Atlanta, that's when I got exposed to more of the dirty South feel with the ghetto mafias and the Pastor Troys and so on and so forth, the TIs and the Goody Mobs. And anyways, you understand that. So it went from me being a rapper to wanting to pick the brains of the individuals that have made it in the industry and figure out what it was that you did and how did you, what motivated you. So then that led to, God helping us to do what we do now.
Yeah.
About that later, let my partner, you feel me?
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, man. For me, I had no idea what rap was. So I approached my love for this culture. It came from understanding that song Jam Master Jay and him being to this day, he's my favorite hip hop figure of all time. If you tell me what does hip hop look like, put a picture of Jam Master Jay up and it'll tell you the story. You know what I'm saying? Run DMC had their look because of him. You know what I'm saying?
Just lean to the left, bro.
Exactly.
You feel me?
The B-boy stance with the gold chain. I got my gold chain on here. If you look at my name, my DJ name is Deejay.
Yeah.
DEE is my initials, my first, middle, and last name, and the JAY is from Jam Master Jay. So I call myself DJ 360 because me and Jay are together. Because when I heard that he passed away, it broke my heart super tremendously. All right. So, but anyway, I jumped over California rap and everything happening in California because I loved what was happening coming out of Def Jam. Early in those days, back in 85, 86, when I really started to become aware of what hip hop was doing, the Beastie Boys were hot.
Yeah.
And that first album, License to Ill, did something to me.
Yeah.
I play that song. I play the album from back to front, even to this day, in the shower, washing dishes. I'm playing Rhyming and Stealing all the way to the end, to Time to Get Ill, right? But I wanted to be a DJ first. I didn't start rapping until the fact of not being able to afford the equipment came into play. We had two homies that live up the street on Highgate. You know, Highgate, you feel me?
Yeah, right.
OE and Jack, they were brothers. They had two Techniques turntables in their garage. They were DJs. Shout out to the DJs, man. We would be at their house in the garage, and they left me downstairs one time. They had a party or something, and I was the only one in the garage, and I had these two turntables. This is about maybe fourth grade, fifth grade. and there was an MC Hammer turn this mother out on one side and Rippin' by Sir Mix-a-Lot on the other side. I said, let me try to mix these two songs. Now, if you know those two songs, Rippin' is about 120 beats per minute fast. Turn This Mother Out is about 95. It's slow, and I just couldn't mix it. But I was just having a ball, just touching the records, and I was like, whoa. To this day, you can't mix those two songs without doing something creative, right? But I was looking through their crates, and I saw these Def Jam logos, the black label with the Def Jam logo, and it just did something. Every time I saw the Def Jam logo, so Run DMC, Beastie Boys, even though Run DMC were not on Def Jam, they were on Profile, they were still kind of that exactly. Def Jam energy. Russell Simmons and
exactly
Rick Rubin and all them. But I wanted to be a DJ, so I figured out, okay, my cousins Shannon and Dwayne, they had a group called Ultrasonic Sounds back in the mid 80s, and they would do parties, and they had the two turntables set up at their house. So I would love to go to my auntie's house in Westboro, you know what I'm saying, and mess with their music, put their shoes on, look at their record collection, and just try to be like them. And so I wanted to be a DJ, but back then a whole DJ setup cost above $2,000. You know what I'm saying? And so what we used to do was make the pause tapes, and I can make right now, if you give me a pause tape,
master
tape player, I'll make a whole song seamlessly with different songs that I can, you pause it, rewind it, start it again, pause it, put another part, make a hook, a whole verse, and go back to the chorus with the pause tape. So we were doing that. But we would write down lyrics of other songs that we wanted to memorize. You know what I'm saying? So the first song I did with that was Posse on Broadway by Sir Mix-a-Lot. And when we did that, I said, I can rap. I'm saying his words over the beat. And so I said, I can do this. I was 10 years old. I wrote my first rap.
Wow.
So that's how I kind of morphed into writing the lyrics and having my love for hip hop from the microphone as opposed to the turntables. It wasn't until the early 2000s that I got my own turntable set, put my money, got some turntables from the pawn shop that I still have to this day, two Technics 1200s, because the culture changed and people were turning their turntables in and getting CDJs. And when they turned them in, I was scooping them up and buying them. They was $120, put them on layaway for about 3 months and go back and get them. So I went and got 4 of them. So I had the digital set and I had the vinyl set that I would use. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that turned into writing rhymes because I was able to do that over the pause tape mixes that I was doing. Me and my brother, and we would beatbox and beat them. We used to have to take the bath together. You know what I'm saying? We young, back in the days. Me and my older brother, we had to take a bath. We would beat on the bath, and in the shower when you beatbox, and it gives you that echo.
Yeah.
And so we would beatbox, and he would, and our homegirl up the street, Tanya Fulcher. Shout out to her. She wrote our first rap. You know what I'm saying? I still know it to this day. It was based off of Paul Revere. It went.
That was my joint.
Here's a little story I got to tell about Three Little Macs. You know so well. It started way back in DC with Super Live C chilling in and D. We came here, yes, to rock the place, to show excitement all on your face. We don't mean to brag, we don't mean to boast, but we rock many cities from coast to coast. You know
Right,
so,
with that part.
Yeah, and so when she did that, I was like, okay, this is confirmation that we can do what she did because she's not a popping rapper. She doesn't have a record deal. She doesn't have a song on the radio, but she wrote a rap. Let me try it. Right. Yeah. And so, and not long after that, my birthday came and her cousin, which was Nick from Bayshore, you know what I'm saying? He bought me 2 posters of Run DMC that I couldn't put on my wall because my parents were against hip hop. Even though Run DMC was a positive group, they didn't understand it. So I couldn't even accept the posters, you know what I'm saying? So when I saw what Run DMC was doing, LL Cool J, I said, I want to do this. Jam Master Jay, and then Sir Mix-a-Lot, the DOC, Fat Boys, Houdini. That was my entrance into the game from that point.
Gotcha. And then how did you guys end up linking up to create what y'all have created now? And we'll go backwards too, but just, how did you guys get to the place where y'all link up and y'all create this, great platform that y'all give to people to be DJs in their own right?
Yeah. You want to.
I mean, if I had to go back to where it all began, It all
Mhm.
started off on the Diggy Dolph. No, I'm just playing. But, I've known 360 since we was about 11, 10, 11,
Mhm.
12.
Mhm.
You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like back then, you know, we was going to the church lock-ins and stuff like that as young cats, and he would come to the lock-ins and stuff like that. And you feel me? Back then, like he was different though. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, like back then, you know, the thing about the Bay Area, man, we try to be different than LA. You know what I'm saying? The way
Right.
we walk, the way we talk, the way we dress, all that. But he's coming through in the Dickie suits with the braids, the cornrows, and the chucks. You know, he kept out of colors. You feel me? So he's like, hold on, bro, who is this dude? You feel me? And then after that, like I said, remember I went to Atlanta. My brother came to Atlanta too. So you feel me? We was going to college together out there in Atlanta in the AUC. Shout out to Morris Brown.
Shout out to Morris Brown College, yeah.
Morris Brown, man, real talk, man. And then it was really God though, man. This is no cap right here. So after graduation, I went my way, he went his way. You know what I'm saying? And a mutual friend was like, "Hey, man, Mac D," we called him Mac D's back then. You know what I'm saying? Mac D's about to come to Houston. So I'm like, he look at, he wants your number. Y'all can call him. All right, cool. I'm busy with life, right? So I go on a job interview. I lead a job interview. He called me. So we talking like, he like, yeah, man, I'm coming to Houston. Wooty wop, wooty wop. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, man, I just left an interview. He like, yeah. I'm like, where you gonna be working? He was like, I'm gonna be at Miller Intermediate. Now, mind you, I had just left the interview at Miller.
Wow.
And they had given me the job. So I'm like, oh, boy, you lying, bro. I'm gonna be there too. He like, what? Like, yeah. So then when school year start, our classrooms is right next to each other. It's like, oh man, I get to see the homie every day.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
And if you go on, if you go on our Instagram page, we just post, or if you go on Greatness page, he just posted a picture of us about what 6 years ago?
About 5 years ago, yeah.
In our professional gear.
I saw that picture.
We was working at the same school, man, growing up together.
Same school, yeah. And then but how this started, you want to tell them that part?
Yeah, man. So when the pandemic hit, you know, everybody was inside. What was it? Around spring break of 2020-ish.
Yeah, March, yeah.
And then not long after that, the George Floyd situation happened. So everybody was inside, everybody was frustrated. The only thing popping on the radio, not on the radio, but on social media was D Nice, right? He was doing his DJ thing, right? So not long after all of that, or slightly before, not long after, I called him one time and I had my Bluetooth speaker on the dinner table. My family, we sitting out eating dinner, and I play a song. Well, I have him on a speaker, and then we just playing music. I play a song, and then he says, "Oh, I got one too. Hold on." He gets his Bluetooth speaker, and he plays a song. And then it turned into, all right, I got one that's doper than that one. Oh, that was cool, but I got one that's doper than that one. And then we both kind of stopped at the same moment. Was like, wait a minute, hold on, we doing something right now. We just didn't know. We just couldn't put our finger on what it was. It was a battle. And so we stopped and we kind of talked about, what is this? We came up with the name shortly after that. Went through a couple. I don't even remember what some of the previous ones were. And then we just, God, like he said, God dropped slap boxing in our spirit. And when we heard that name, it fit. Because we called in the Bay, well, not only just the Bay, but I think it originated in the Bay. Shout out to E40 and Rick Rock and all those guys. Slaps are what we call songs that hit real hard in the Bay Area and maybe other parts of the country as well. And so since we're battling, going back and forth in a competitive way, we called, okay, since the song is called a slap and we're battling, why don't we call it slap boxing? Because the songs will be battling each other. They'll be boxing each other. So slap boxing was a thing. Maybe later on that week, I drafted up a logo, the original logo that has the onomatopoeia, you know what I'm saying, with the slap explosion, with the boxing glove, with the musical note inside of it. And so that was our original logo. It morphed into what we see now with the colorful SLP BXN. But it started out as Bluetooth speaker on the dinner table, talking to my brother on the phone and playing songs back and forth that we just had a good time. And my family was hearing the songs that he was playing and the songs that I was playing, and they were just having a good time eating dinner while we listening to music. but it turned into a competition because, just like spades, just like dominoes, just like any basketball, whatever you playing, it gets competitive. And so that's what it turned into. And so we said, let's take this and give it to the people because nobody's able to get out to the clubs or get out to parties or whatever. So we might as well get on online and share it with the people. So we started out on Google Meets. You know what I'm saying? It was sharing the Google Meets with people that we know. And people would chime in and want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? And then we would post the playlist up online on Instagram, and it just kind of morphed into what it is now based on that. Just kind of in a nutshell. There's a lot of little intricate things that happen, but in a nutshell, that's kind of what happened. And we just wrapped up season 5, and then we got into our summer school session to bridge 5 and 6. So tell them a little bit more about something I may have missed, or fill in some gaps with some information, man, that'll give them a good understanding of what we're doing, bro.
Oh no, man! I mean, you pretty much said it so eloquently.
Oh man!
You know what I mean?
But, yeah, so that's pretty much what it was, and people like it, and you've experienced it,
Yes, I have.
And see, that's what makes us different, though. Like we try to give something that the people can be a part of, because again, during those time of quarantine, you were able to view different other things that were going on. They were great. I enjoyed them myself, but I couldn't really be a part of them. This right here allows the common man to be a part of something. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or the songs that they necessarily would play, wasn't necessarily like what I wanted to hear. So if I had the opportunity to do this person versus this person, I would pick this song, and you would see in the comments too. So really, really a dope, situation. And I can attest firsthand, I had a really good time on the show. I've had a great time just witnessing, the different shows, and just saw that you guys had someone pretty special, kind of on there. I'm gonna let y'all talk about how that came to be, and because it's not just the battles between different people. Sometimes you guys battle, and sometimes you guys have someone on there, that you're interviewing. And so, talk about that latest interview that you guys have going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so just to rewind the tape, if you got your cassette tape, man, hit that rewind button. Let's go back a little bit. So it started out, Greatness and I just battling each other for the first maybe 4 seasons. It was just us, you know what I'm saying? Then we said, let's bring the other people in. Let's give them a chance to slap. So we had something called March Slapness. It was kind of like March Madness, where we created a tournament. We got people who would, we had let's just say the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, and it came down to an elimination game or tournament, and then we go to the championship and see who had, battle for slap supremacy. Shout out to Tracy, Slapboxing Tracy. She won 2 times in a row. But so it went from that to where we had anytime we have an off season, we have conversations about how we can upgrade and get better the next one. So we said, let's start bringing in, let's break up the format that we've been used to for the first couple of seasons, and let's bring some people in to interview. Let's break up the.
Hold on, no. Remember, tell them about initially we would have guests appear in the battles,
right?
But people would be afraid to talk to them, so the guests would just be sitting there watching the battle. We like, y'all don't want. We got Cool Rock Ski sitting right here, man. Y'all want to talk to him, man? You can ask him anything. We had Sugar T, you know what I'm saying? Just to name a few. You don't want to talk to them, they scared.
Man, we had JJ Fad in there.
JJ Fad.
JJ Fad showed up, and nobody, like he said, nobody wanted to say nothing because it was like, that's JJ Fad.
Yeah, they was
Cool Rock Ski was not a stranger to the show. He's been on many times.
Big bro.
We got a member of the legendary Fat Boys sitting here, and y'all don't want to say nothing. So, but they came in as celebrity guest judges of the battle. You know what I'm saying? And so we did that for a few times. Who else did we have in there?
We had the poet laureate of San Francisco.
Yes.
Congo Isaac Martin.
Yeah. So we bring celebrities in, and then later on we said, okay, how can we further utilize the celebrities? And so we said, okay, let's focus on them so that they're not sitting there bored just listening to music. Let's involve them by interviewing them. But let's not get away from our original format, which is slapping music. So if you check out anything we've done in season 5 and the summer school slaps, you see a format where we slap only 3 songs, but the rest of the slap episode, we don't know what an episode is. We call them slap episodes.
Yeah, you feel me?
We went through slap episode 1 through 4 for the summer school to bridge for season 5 and 6. And throughout the slap episode, we would have 3 songs, but then we would interview the celebrity. So the latest one that you're speaking of is Omar Gooding.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We just interviewed Omar Gooding. It's about an hour long. We just put up the first clip. The next one will be up tomorrow. If you watch Baby Boy, he played the role of Sweet Pea. He was in Smart Guy back in the days. He's been on Hanging with Mr. Cooper. He has many movies out that you can find over. Yeah, AM radio, Family Time. But he's a legend. And his brother, of course, is Cuba Gooding Jr. from Boys in the Hood and from radio and just a legend.
Right.
Not only that, his pops was in Mint Condition. He was one of the lead singers. So it's like
main ingredient.
What I say?
Yeah, mint condition.
Mint Condition.
Main ingredient. Yeah, main ingredient.
It was a good group. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Main ingredient. His dad was Everybody Plays a Fool and all those songs. If you want to check those out, his dad is a lead singer on there. But we had a great conversation with him. You know what I'm saying? And we just interviewed Jake. No, I ain't gonna let that one go. But for the summer, we also talked to J.O. Felony, who's a legendary West Coast rapper from San Diego. He was signed to Def Jam. We interviewed Smackwater, who's an internet sensation. And then for Slap Episode 3, we battled.
We gave you a slap battle.
Come on, we gave him a slap battle for the 3. And what we did was shout out to the East Coast and shout out to the old school, shout out to the classic albums. What we did was we selected from the East Coast region. We selected one of our favorite albums from the East Coast and slapped them against each other, song for song. We're only up to song number 12. And so what happened is, if song number 1 was an intro and my song on another album was a song, that's just a chance you take. You're going to slap an intro against an actual full-length song. And so we just went from track number 1 to track number 12 and slapped song for song for song. I chose It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back by Public Enemy. And what did you have, bro?
Yeah, man. I had, the classic of all classics. Nah, I'm just playing. But I had a classic album, Notorious Big, Ready to Die. You know what I mean? Like, if you play that 1 to 12, you're not skipping anything.
It's a great album. So those are the types of things we do. We have a specific format that is who we are, which is we're going slap for slap. We might have a theme. Since your name is Miss Thurzday, we might have, when you come on again, we might find songs that were recorded on Thursdays.
Yeah. Born on a Thursday.
Or artists that were born on Thursdays. And then we get
artists that talk about Thursday.
Exactly.
You.
Yeah, we don't
giving away too much game. Yeah,
because you are coming back at some point.
But I am.
Yeah. And so that's what we do. We battle food. You know what I'm saying? If you have a peach cobbler that tastes better than your homegirl's peach cobbler, cook them up and let's taste them and see who slaps the hardest. You know what I'm saying? We've slapped liquor, wine, alcoholic beverages, you know what I'm saying? Sodas. So anything that can slap, we slap it against each other. So when we thought of this idea back in 2020, it just grew a bunch of different legs, a bunch of different branches. And shout out to the other competitive platforms that are doing things, but we didn't see that they were engaging the people. You listen to them, but you are us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's important. And also, we needed all of it, right? I was super excited to see what I hoped was becoming, was going to become the norm. It was nice seeing the DJ brought back to the forefront during 2020. I think we was reminded of how important they were. I feel like they, saved our lives in a lot of ways. And so I think that, we needed all of that. We needed the engagement. We needed the entertainment. It was really fun, being able to go on to different platforms and you seeing everybody from, your coworker to the president, on there talking, on different platforms, because we were all, in the same space. And it really helped to lift us out of depression. It gave us something to do. You know, you saw people getting dressed up just to go to club quarantine, you know, different things.
Right.
And, you know, and it was once again, you know, we saw hip hop come to the rescue, because I like to think about, like, you know, when they talk about the blackout, you know, in New York, like that was like an explosion of hip hop became from that, you know, that period. Because a lot of people was able to get equipment all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you had a big explosion of DJs, you know, because some didn't want to wait till 2000s to put their stuff on their way.
Right.
So,
Right.
talk to me about you guys. I'm sorry, go ahead. 360.
Oh no, I was just piggybacking off what you were saying. I
Okay.
remember that time. I remember seeing interviews about that time when New York had the blackout, and then, you know, the looting happened and equipment, and now you got DJs popping up in different crews. But the DJ is the cornerstone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
When a lot of rappers couldn't get on the mic during the quarantine, they weren't doing no shows. The DJ still had the equipment.
Yeah.
And could still spin those songs of the artists who couldn't rap. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to D Nice, Jazzy Jeff, Shortcut, list goes on and on. Greatness, 360, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what I was about to, you know, kind of talk to you guys about, you're both from the Bay, you went to school in Georgia, and now you're both in Houston, Texas. And, you know, just kind of going back, you know, I, you know, met you 360 sadly after my brother passed away. And, you know, you guys were actually about to do, you know, an old school show in Camden, New Jersey. And you was, you know, with somebody, you know, else, you know, kind of important guy.
Oh man. Yeah, that was So let's take it there. I mean, shout out to DJ Mr. Mix, my big brother, man, from Two Live Crew.
Yes.
I was out on the road with them for about 2.5 years, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to Brother Marquise, rest in peace to Chinaman, Fresh Kid Ice.
Yes.
Shout out to Uncle Luke. But I came in and was just supporting Mr. Mix on the mic, you know what I'm saying, do these concerts. And I was going all over the country with him. And one of the stops in 2018, I believe it was 18, right?
Yes.
2018.
2018.
Yep. One of the stops was in Camden, New Jersey. But I don't know. I don't know. Would you like me to go into the story on how we figured things?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So earlier in the week, man, early that week, we had a show on a Saturday or Friday. I believe it was a Saturday.
It was Friday.
It was a Friday. Okay. But we rehearsed. We kind of, Mr. Mix put together the audio for the show. And it included a bit of My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me by the Ghetto Boys, which your brother produced, had a lot to do with, and was part of that whole movement. Shout out to Rap A Lot and the Ghetto Boys, Willie D and Scarface, Bushwick Bill, rest in peace. So Mr. Mix, you know, we kind of was on the phone and, you know, saying, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, learn your parts, blah, blah, blah. Kind of doing a rehearsal. It was Mr. Mix, myself, and Ready Red on the phone, DJ Ready Red. And so we got ready to, how did it happen? Wednesday came, and I think we were supposed to get on the phone again, and we just didn't, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, all right, everybody's professional. We know our stuff. Let's just go to the show Friday. We'll hook up at sound check. You know what I'm saying? So we get to Camden, New Jersey. We fly in, we call Red as soon as we get to the hotel. Like, all right, bro, you know, we was calling him to meet us at sound check so we could run through the song because we didn't get a chance to do it again that week earlier in the week. He didn't answer. We're like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Let's try it. Let's go eat, get something to eat. You know, let's call him when we get back to the hotel. We call him again and he doesn't answer. We're like, okay, man, maybe he got cold feet and or, you know, because he hasn't performed in a while before that, right? So
it had been just a few years because he did start doing something like with premiering like with through shout out to you know, Tracy Walker and Cat Productions, but it still wasn't like back in the day. Yeah.
So so we get to Camden, we get something to eat. And Mute one of those, bro. All right. And then so we didn't hear from him, and it was time to go to sound check. So we said, all right, let's try one more time, see what's up with Red, man. If he doesn't answer, maybe he had to go to work, because I know he worked security and he did some things at night. So maybe he decided to, nobody was upset. It was like, okay, maybe he just decided not to do it. So we get to sound check and we call him again and he doesn't answer. We're like, all right, well, so we run through the show. It only took us maybe 5 or 10 minutes. As long as the mic sounded cool and the beat was slapping, we didn't really have to go through our whole show to know that everything was right. And so we go back to the hotel. So I don't know. Let's just say sound check was about 6 o'clock. We get back and we were supposed to go on about, I guess, 8 show time. And we were second, I believe, after Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. You know what I'm saying? So we get back to the hotel, rest up, take a nap, whatever. We get the lobby call from our tour manager, Debo. Shout out to Debo, man. He called us to come down to the lobby. Soon as I get down to the lobby, Mix wasn't down yet. Soon as I get to the lobby, the legendary Van Silk, shout out to Van Silk, man. Yes, Van Silk called. Van Silk, man, he's responsible for a lot. We could do a whole segment on him.
Really? Yes.
And he's a friend of the Slapp Boxing platform as well. He's been on there. But he called me and was like, yo, I keep knocking my headphones out. He said, yo, y'all all right? Because he knew that Red was supposed to be on the show with us. I was like, yeah, we cool. What's happening? He said, you heard about Red, right? I was like, nah, what happened? He was like, he died, yo. So I said, yo, let me call you back. I called Mr. Mix. I said, yo, man, you know why we ain't been hearing from Red? Red's dead. Red died, man. I mean, we were sitting on that phone for about 2 minutes and it was just complete silence. And so maybe 5 minutes later, Mr. Mix comes down. We head to the venue. And, we did our show, but Mr. Mix made sure that before he did anything, he gave a shout out to Reddy Red. He's one of your hometown heroes, blah, blah, blah. And we played the instrumental. It was about a minute and a half of My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me. And, when I say ready, y'all say red, ready. And then so we gave him a tribute. But that was just a crazy collection of events that happened that Reddy Red was gone and we were trying to contact him. It was just from what I understand, he died of a cardiac arrest. Yeah. So
they I didn't feel like they needed to do an autopsy to be definite, but just kind of from looking over things, it looked like it was possibly a heart attack. And but it was really crazy because he had kind of kept it close to his chest about the show, what he was going to do. And he just posted the flyer that Wednesday and made it known that he was going to, just kind of walk out, when, Mr. Mix was going to do his thing. And I was messing with him because when I saw Salt and Pepper was on the venue, I was like, oh, let them know I went back to school, because back in the day when he was on tour, he had Icy, Salt and Pepper, Q-Tip, like everybody he was on tour with, telling me to go back to school because I was going through something like when I was younger or whatever. And so it was like a little joke. And he was like, if I get a chance, I definitely will. And that was the last little conversation kind of between us. And that was just on Facebook. At that time I was working night shift. So, whenever he would work nights, we would sometimes talk and stuff like that. But he was also still, working in the morning too. So when I got the call that Friday, of course I'm rushing to go, to my sister, let my family and everybody know. But we were trying to figure out how we could get a hold of someone from the venue to let them know what was what. So, when I finally did talk to you and Mr. Mix, and I found out that, my cousin Eric was the one that told me, like, yeah, they know there is, it's all good. But when I finally talked to you guys, it was just like, just a crazy moment for me. Like you said, Van Silk, I make the joke with everybody. If I ever write a book about my life, I'm gonna have a chapter that's called "Hello, Ada, Van Silk," because that's how much he called me that weekend. Just checking in on me, calling with different people. It was really, really crazy.
Yeah. Ready Red, man, just another thing about he was so humble, man. When I was before I got back to the state, before slap boxing, before I was a teacher in the state of Texas, I lived overseas in Abu Dhabi. So I would be back and forth to Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Oman, different places DJing. And from me DJing over there, I created something called 360 University, which is a school that I kind of put in place to teach DJs how to, or young people who are interested in being a DJ, teach them how to DJ. And I connected with Ready Red, did an interview with him about 2014, and we kept a relationship. And he did an intro for me, welcoming the students to 360 University. He did it was like a 2-minute video. I still got it. I keep it in my phone, where he said, welcome to 360 University. If you listen to DJ 360, he gonna give you everything he can about. He did a real dope intro. And I'll send it to you. I don't know if I sent it to you, but I'll send it to you so you can check it out. Yeah,
please do.
And so whenever I would have my classes, I would show the video to the students, and they were like, "Whoa, that's DJ Ready Red from the Ghetto Boys. My mind's playing tricks on me." Yeah. So, and that kind of validated the fact that I could, teach them. He gave me a stamp, basically. You know what I'm saying? He gave me the stamp along with Red Alert and Van Silk. Those are the three that was like my main ones. But I just want to give a shout out to you and your family. Condolences to your whole family. Ready Red was a very important person. Is a very important person as we celebrate 50 years of hip hop. He had a lot to do with the sound that's coming out of Texas, as well as the South overall. You know what I'm saying? And listening to his beats is another reason why I fell in love with hip hop. If you listen to a song called "Making Trouble" off one of the earlier Ghetto, I'm not gonna say the first Ghetto Boys album, but one of the early ones.
It was the first one that him and Johnny C was on.
Right.
Because you had Car Freaks, and that was with Sir Rap-A-Lot and Box and Raheem, and then they put out the Beat Down single, and then Making Trouble, the album, was like the first album with all of them on there.
With Bushwick as a dancer, what I'm saying, as the hype man, but shout out to Ready Red.
Yeah, thank you. And so you kind of, we went into that, but let's not skip over your time with Two Live Crew. What is that like? and y'all both were also in Georgia during a very crucial time in the world. So I'm also going to ask, are y'all marked safe from the Freaknik documentary?
Two Live Crew was an opportunity that came. I was anticipating a little bit of backlash because I wasn't one of the original members, and I kind of came in after one of the members decided to do his own thing, and we did get some, some of the time was a little. It could have gotten a little crazy, but it was cool. I've known Mr. Mix since 2006, and when some changes happened with the group, he called me and I said, okay. He was like, man, you want to go on the road and do some of this stuff with me? Anybody get that opportunity is going to say yes. So I was like, I just got back from Abu Dhabi. I was trying to find my way in Texas, and he calls me and says, let's go on the road. I was like, I checked with my wife, make sure she was cool with it, because Two Live Crew can have
a lot,
but it wasn't none of that. It was, but she was cool with it. We went city to city. We was on tour with MC Hammer, on tour with Vanilla Ice, Rob Bass, Bone Thugs and Harmony. Rest in peace to Coolio. We did shows with him, as well as rest in peace Biz Marquee, Salt and Pepper, Slick Rick. The name goes on and on. People I've met and able to get autographs from, because I'm a huge fan. So I remember one time I brought about 20 records that I had from Sir Mix-a-Lot, and he signed every single one of them. You know what I'm saying? But it was great. I did about 2.5 years with them. I was, doing maybe 90% of the rap, and Mr. Mix was doing his thing, hyping the crowd, DJing, and we went from city to city. We did dates all over the country. I've been to cities that I've never been to on my own. Portland, Maine, cities in Iowa, Minnesota. We've been to Winnipeg, Ontario, Canada, West Coast, down south, everywhere. And of course, when you go to certain cities in different markets, they're looking for Luke. They're looking for Brother Marquise. They know that Chris, rest in peace, Fresh Kid Ice has passed on. Then they see my face. They're like, man, what's going on here, man? But at the end of the day, we gave them a show. They heard the songs as they sounded on CD, and they had a great time. You know what I'm saying? So that was probably one of my top 3 experiences that I've had in my lifetime dealing with music. Yeah.
I could definitely imagine that. So I'm going to ask both of you guys, how do your students feel about having you guys as teachers? And have you found that utilizing hip hop in some way actually helps you to teach them, or for them to understand like certain things better? Because I know that there's a lot of curriculum out there that marries, hip hop with education. Growing up in the 80s, 90s, I felt like hip hop was, our education. It taught us a lot about things that we were not getting in school. So how do y'all kind of utilize hip hop to teach your students?
Oh, okay. Hip hop for me, I use it more so from an entrepreneurial standpoint. I've always been fascinated with the Russell Simmons, the Suge Knights, the Masterpiece. So being able to, allow them to see me in those circles makes it a lot easier for me to get across the idea of owning your own thing. Far too many times, we try to push our children to go get a good job, which is fine, but that has a limit on it. You know what I mean? And being that, I was raised under the standard that we are excellence. I am excellence by Marva Collins. You know what I mean? And there's a line in that poem that says, when society draws a circle that shuts me out, I will design my own circle to draw me in. You know what I mean? So I use hip hop to show them that they can create whatever they want to too. So it's been a blessing because they've seen it go from nothing to what you see right now today.
Yes.
They've seen it go from me just talking about it to, some of my kids, some of the kids' parents are actually wearing the gear and sending us pictures in the gear. You know what I mean? So, so they've been like, Mom, that's my teacher stuff. You know what I mean? So to show them that they can do that, I preach to them about, I don't know if you're familiar with Farrah Gray. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Farrah Gray, Millionaire. I show them that though too. There's no age limit on entrepreneurship and being the boss. And I feel like I got that from just, again, the Bay Area. You know what I mean? Out the trunk with it. You know what I mean? Your Too Shorts, your E40s, your JT, the bigger figures, man. You know what I mean? Your Selskis. They all did it out the trunk. So that,
Yeah. What he's saying is very important. Looking at hip hop from a business standpoint and showing the kids that they can do this too is very important. I took it from an actual, a working perspective where they can actually do these things. Black History, where we had this opportunity to design our doors with a Black History theme, and I chose 50 years of hip hop. So when you walk in my door, I got Ice Cube, Too Short, Kid and Play, all these figures on my door of my classroom, and I put a turntable out there. So when they come down to judge our doors, I got what record did I have playing? I had a hip hop song playing. I forgot what it was. I think it was It Takes Two, and I had a playlist running of hip hop, and so I also brought 360 University to the school, and so we have these clubs at our school where the kids can sign up for a club. And for a few weeks, they're able to go to these different clubs at 2:30 every day for 30 minutes and experience something that's non-academic. Get them out of get them out of academics for 30 minutes. And I brought 360 University. So I brought the turntables and I would teach them how to mix and how to make beats and how to count bars. I gave them the history of a turntable all the way from the phonograph up to the Technics 1200s and the CDJs, and now to controllers. I showed them the progression of that. And then earlier in my career, what I would do to help them with studying for a test, I would help them write rhymes of their notes to put in, and then memorize the song, memorize the poem, and you should get an A on my test. And so that was the perspective that I brought in. And then I also brought Red Alert to school for Career Day when I was in Atlanta. At the time, Red Alert was living in Atlanta. We became cool. I met him through his wife, who worked at my school. She was working in the cafeteria. I was setting up my turntables for a dance. She walked over and said, "You a DJ?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am." I went back to doing what I was doing. She said, "You know who my husband is?" I looked at her like, "No." She said, "You heard of DJ Red Alert?" I was like, "Yes, I have." And that created a relationship.
And wish you had that in school.
Yeah. And so that turned into a relationship to where he agreed to come up to the school for Career Day. You should have seen how many teachers were at the hallway taking pictures. And I set the turntables up in there, and he came in and did a mixed demonstration. And so that's how I connected hip hop with education, because they're synonymous. Because you have to learn something on both ends. You got to learn how to write rhymes. You got to learn how to scratch, learn how to count bars, learn how to count beats. You got to learn how to do fractions. You got to learn decimals. You got to learn how to read. You got to learn how to write. So all that education can be combined as long as you remain creative and bring some of yourself to the classroom. And that's what we did with hip hop.
Absolutely. Yeah. October of 2018, after my brother passed, I had to, shout out to Van Silk again. He helped me to work with our hometown of Trenton, New Jersey, to put a workshop together where, Red Alert came, and Grand Wizard Theodore, and Kevy Kev, Rockwell, and Raheem from the Furious Five, DXT, a lot of great, artists from the first generation, and some of the DJs from my hometown of Trenton, because that was something my brother had wanted to do, was like he did a showcase and kind of a workshop with the kids one year through was working with the library, and he had been going around and doing panels with the guys, and so I wanted to kind of continue that with the library, and I want to give a shout out to one of my close friends, DJ Oxygen. He's from Trenton, but he's out in DC doing this thing. He does like a lot of events and comedy, but he was working in the city of Baltimore schools doing the same thing. Had different DJs coming in and talking to the kids about, hip hop and how to spin and all that stuff. And, and put a really nice program together. And, just going back to like when we were younger and we had band and we had choir, like, and art, those things helped marry the idea of education.
Right.
And, with so many schools losing funding for, the arts, we also have to still find creative ways to be able to teach, and give them a different way of looking at things, because when you think of many of the MCs, from prior generations, some of them was, high school dropouts, never finished school, whatever.
Right.
But you study their lyrics, and it's, it's like crazy,
Right.
So, it's so much that we can still learn and get out of hip hop, and and I I'm always very interested to see the way that people use it to educate, but yeah. But I know I've had you guys on here for a minute, and I am always happy to talk with y'all and hang out with y'all. You guys have such great energy, and I definitely appreciate you guys taking the time. Let everyone know what you got coming up. I know that we're in summer school right now, but when does the new season start? What do they have to look forward to? When am I coming back on? That's
yeah, talk to him. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh,
go ahead,
man,
bro. Go
you
ahead,
already
bro.
know, man. Make sure you stay slapped in, man, with the social medias, though, man, because we got, again, interviews dropping. Like we said, we finishing out Brother Omar Good.
Mm-hmm.
And we got,
Okay. Yeah. Like he was about to say, we started out the summer school slap sessions with 4 episodes. Yeah, you kind
Okay.
of froze up. You kind of froze up, bro. So I was
Yeah, I
just
keep getting kicked out, man. Please
yeah.
don't think I'm
Oh no, it's all
ill.
good.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
but
cold
go. Yeah.
ill. You feel me?
But
Nah,
yeah,
but but nah, like you said though, man, stay close to the social medias, man, because we got a lot coming up though right now, though, man. We're in the lab. We don't want to give away the plans before they happen. So stay tuned. Season 6 is coming. September, season 6 will be dropping. You know what I mean? And again, be on the lookout for a whole new format and man, and a different approach to this. You know what I mean? We do. You feel me?
yeah.
Also, look for us at a city near you though, too. You know what I mean? We will be at your local venues, man. You know what I'm saying? Trying to have a slaptastic time doing
Right.
what we do. You feel me?
Slap boxing in the street. You know what I'm saying? That's our segment. We got a kind of a theme that we have when we pull up to different venues or different cities. Like when we go to concerts, for example, we just went to the concert for Souls of Mischief. Shout out to Souls of Mischief.
Yeah.
Celebrating 30 years of 93 till infinity. We pulled up to the concert. We hung out with Souls of Mischief and Domino and the Architect and a bunch of artists that were there.
Raw Fusion,
Raw
Wattage, yeah.
Raw Wattage, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Down with Large Professor. I'm tripping. Yeah. Extra Pete, you know what I'm saying? So they'll be coming back. But when we do things like that, we call that slap boxing in the street. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ice Cube. He made it a hot song, a hot line. We made it a hot theme. You know what I'm saying? So we got slap boxing in the street. So that means we're gonna be pulling up to a city near you, into a venue. Y'all come out. We do the slap boxing battle live in different venues. That's coming soon as well. So that's about all I'm going to say about season 6. We got a bunch of different treats coming up for y'all, but you can look forward to battles that you can participate in as well coming up again. And but like my partner Greatness said, just pay attention to the social medias, go and check out so you can have a backstory of what we do. Make sure you check out Slap Boxing on YouTube at Slaps TV, SLAPPZ, and then TV,
one word.
Yeah, one word. And you can check us out on Twitter at Slap Boxing, Instagram Slap Boxing. No, on Twitter we're Slaps TV. And y'all know the Twitter logo changed. So if you see that black background with the X,
it's just the X now.
So still log in and look up Slaps TV.
Hold on, real quick, but it was kind of funny. It's okay when they X, but Malcolm did it was a problem.
hey, Finesse 2 times told him it's cool when they do it.
Yeah, it was a problem when I do it. Right. You feel me?
Yeah. So, but we really appreciate you having us on this. Prayers for much success to the BPM podcast, and it's a great thing.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys, and hope to make it to one of these slap boxing live events. Very soon. I know that my goal is to actually start having some BPM events where we're actually being able to provide some real health literacy and education and care and everything to the public, and and make it a whole thing. So
hey, maybe a collaboration could happen. BPM
absolutely.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, but shout out to you and your whole staff and everything y'all doing over there.
Thank you. All right, folks. I appreciate you for tuning in to Beats Per Minute podcast, and and if you are catching a replay, thank you. You can catch us every Thursday. This month we'll be doing another live on the 23rd. You guys are welcome to come back. That's when we will actually be commemorating the 5-year of DJ Ready Red passing. But starting at the end of the month, we'll be going live every week, and then you'll be able to catch the audio on Spotify and Apple Music and I believe Audible. Yeah. Okay. But just check in and make sure you stay in tune so that you'll know when different things are coming up. We definitely want to give our love and our support and our thank you to all of the great artists, DJs, MCs, graffiti writers, B-boys, B-girls that came before that created this great culture that we call hip hop. And we wish you a happy 50th anniversary. All right. So to the beat, y'all, we going to get up on out of here. Okay. Thank you guys again.
Peace. Thank you.
Hello, little sister. How are you? Very proud of you and your accomplishments.